pulse of the VI. Listen close and you will see why. The information will set you free. Stand together, never divide. Pulse VI.
Robbie's on his way. We can't have.
I know. Binta can't wait for him to come.
I can't wait because all week long I have been practicing.
I know.
No, practicing my diss. Like all the diss I have, disses I have to throw at Robbie. Because he's not going to get me like he got me on the last show I was on.
Yeah, he sure did.
Because I think y'all need to stop embarrassing me every single time. It's not right.
Not you all? How
yes.
about in that?
You, Blake, Rob. I think it's bullying. I don't like being bullied.
Oh gosh, let's not go there.
I don't know, but how are you? How's your week?
My week was good because I had 2 days off, Thursday and Friday.
Must be nice.
Well, I was dealing with, after Irma stuff still.
Your house?
Yeah, but it was good to just,
Overall.
spend the whole day because since Pulse has come into my life, my weekend is not really a weekend. It's like half of a weekend because no matter what I do, I have to finish by a certain time so I could get ready to come here. So it's like Saturday is not like a full day of doing anything. So I was like, in order for me to get anything done, I need to take a couple extra days.
Okay, that's fair. I wish I could. I can't afford to take any days off, I feel like.
Oh, God.
Because my problem is when I take days off, I can't fully enjoy it because I know the amount of work I'll have when I get back in the office.
Girl, I never think about it.
So it's really bad. That's why I always have the most vacation days left in the year that they're telling me, Binta, you need to take your days off.
See, that's the youth in you. I think when I was your age, I probably acted that way.
I don't know.
But now I'm like, look, it's all about me time. So once I got to do it, I'm taking it, girl.
I don't know. I just want to sleep and eat. Oh, let me update you on my diet. I lost 3 pounds this month, y'all. 3 pounds.
And I reached my weight goal yesterday. So now I have to figure out.
You just have to tone now.
I can't tell you all because it's embarrassing. Like it's so embarrassing.
You want to hear my weight? Who do you think's heavy between me and you?
I know, but I mean like mine's is really embarrassing, so I won't tell anyone.
Because it's low or
it's low.
Oh.
Right? But the thing is that I now have to figure out how to stop losing weight.
What do you mean?
Well, because I'm scared to eat the stuff that I know will make me gain back too much weight, like the starch and all the carbohydrates.
I mean, it's all in moderation, isn't it? No?
No.
I mean, you could do the Gambian way, just pile up on some rice. I'm telling you,
but
that's
see,
how I
then
got
I'll
these
gain
arms.
it back. So I need to figure out how to normalize my body. That's what I need to figure out. So that's what I'm working on this week.
We can switch.
Okay.
We can switch. Let me lose, and you can gain a little bit.
I just want to gain it a couple places. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's another story.
And you want me to tell you a little tip? This is a little too much, but there's been one certain area that 3 pounds, I'm pretty sure I lost the 3 pounds off my butt, which is really weird. Is that weird? I'm pretty positive that's where like the 3 pounds left.
But you know you have an African butt, right?
No, but at the same time, my pants don't fit right, and it's only 3 pounds. It's not like it's massive, so it's really awkward.
But it's amazing how different your clothes feel with only 3 pounds.
I don't know, but y'all know how I like my clothes.
Yeah, that's why I had to lose weight, because my clothes weren't fitting, and people don't understand, but you don't need to lose weight. I'm like, but everything is fitted, not fitting. I can't zip the zipper up. So that's why I had to lose weight, and I'm telling you, it's the best feeling.
Buy stretchy clothes. Buy stretchy clothes. I'm trying to tell you.
That's when you have a body. I don't have no body for no stretchy clothes, girl. You see, I'm about a minute big.
No, oh my goodness. Ooh.
But what happened in the territory this week? I mean, I know people don't want us to talk about politics, but how could we not? I mean, it's political season in the BVI.
And he walks out.
Hey, we have an announcement. The
happened?
VIP has 2 new candidates.
Who are? I don't know.
Dean Foy in District 8, he will go up against Marlon Penn, Honorable Marlon Penn.
Okay.
Please forgive me for being disrespectful there. And then we have Miss Arlene Smith Thompson, who's just received her doctorate in education. Go girl. Okay. And she is a former permanent secretary. She will be going up against Honorable Julian Fraser in District 3, and they're both VIP candidates.
No, but he has his own party.
Right, so she's going up against him. She's running against him, so they'll both be on the same ticket. On the same
so
ballot.
He's just switching parties, not dress.
He's creating his own party called
PU.
I don't like pop.
It's progressive.
Well, because they're gonna say progressive United Party pop. I'm not.
I don't know. It's
feeling
just
it.
really weird. I
Maybe
don't know
they'll
what's
call
happening.
it something else.
I feel like it's all over the place. I don't know what's happening.
It's going to be a year that I think we're going to have a lot of all over the place type of thing, because you have to realize that people are not happy. A lot has happened in the territory over the last couple of years. Persons are unhappy, you know, so everybody's going to jump in the race.
I don't know. It is. I just hope. I don't know. I just hope people just. I just want people to do right by people, do right by us, kind of, you know, that kind of thing. So it's gonna be.
That's so wishful thinking, huh?
And I just found out I actually can vote. Isn't that crazy?
You can.
Apparently, if you have your belongers thingy, you can vote.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I have to look into it, but that's what they say.
Yeah, I think once you have a belongers card.
I don't know, but I told myself the first
and you
time I'm gonna vote.
you know, I'm a BV Islander. I don't like the fact that you just say a belonger thingy.
A belonger what?
You say because I have my belonger thingy.
It is a thingy. It's a card.
Oh, okay. Call it what it is.
It's a thingy majiggy.
A card, belong a card.
Belong a card.
Yeah. not
I think I hit a nerve.
Yeah.
I didn't say ting. I said thing.
I mean, some people want that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I want my passport. That's what I've been here anyway. I feel like I'm more BV Islander than Gambian. So I could go on all day about this.
I
but
know.
You know, I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
But voting wise, I told myself that I would vote. The first time I voted, it would be in Gambia.
Oh, so you're not gonna vote here?
I mean, I don't really. I don't know.
So basically, we could take back our bilanga tingi.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Because I still don't have the passport.
I mean, honey, it's a process. Come on.
I'm a resident.
Okay, it's still a process. Take your time. You're gonna get there.
You know, it's a long story. I won't tell you. I won't go through the story as to why. You know, but I'll just leave that there. I think certain things are really unfair as to how it's handled. And I'll give you the backstory later because I know you're ready to go off.
No, I'm gonna listen.
It's just thing. Mine was basically we all applied. My dad's been here my whole life, I think. I'm 25. He's been here my whole life. Right? What did you say? So basically the family, they got naturalized. They finally got naturalized in the year I moved back, right? And we all applied on the same ticket, but I got denied because they said I was away at school.
You were away at school.
So we tried. I'm like, you can't, you know, I'm away at school.
Yeah, you're being penalized.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I mean, listen.
I don't know.
Our culture is so unlike any other. I mean, it's the same. Like I have some very close friends, their kids, because of Irma, they send their kids off to the US for the 1 year that, you know, the great mighty man in the White House gave them. So, you know, now they brought the kids back, and mind you, the minister has been on the radio saying the process is going to be easy. Let me tell you something. This has been a process from hell for them. Do you understand me? First, when they brought the kids in, they stopped them at the port, tell them the kids can't come. I mean, these are kids that have been in school here well over 5 years. So it's like, you know, it kind of depresses persons how stupid the system is sometimes, especially after we've said, you know, Irma, you went away, we're going to welcome you back. And it's like starting the wheel over is what my friend said. Like, it's like, this is the first time. You just have to start from the beginning. So I think there are some things that are just broken and we need to figure out how to fix it.
I mean, that's with a lot of things, though. So, I mean, all in due time, though.
Yeah.
We're going to keep the faith alive.
Yeah, we're going to elect some officials that's going to do the right thing.
He's not even paying attention.
Not paying attention.
Oh, before we go to break, we have a couple of minutes. Did y'all see the news about the Spanish woman hiding all that money all up in there?
Let me tell you something.
How, Sway? How?
God is good to some people. That's all I could say.
How
did she? Okay. I try to figure it out, you know. I mean, I'm like,
how it's gonna work, right?
I'm just like, how did she walk? That's all I'm saying. How did she walk? But anyway, you know, I'm such a coward.
Like, how would it come out?
Sometimes I wouldn't even think of it because they're gonna know instantly anyway. Something's wrong with that woman over there.
You know, when you watch TV and then they tell you do the little sneeze test, they're like, oh, cop.
Girl, she is, all I say is she's talented. You know, women are talented. That's super talented.
I guess if you could push a baby out, it could push money in. I don't know. I have no idea.
But I'm telling you, that's some talent right there. Because
you know how many diseases she probably has now?
And I'm trying to figure out, like, did she push them up herself? Or did she have someone do it? And then who's going to touch the money first? You know what I'm saying?
It's so skeptical. Like, doesn't that make you scared to handle money now? Money's always been disgusting.
But you know, they always say it's the dirtiest thing out there.
It is,
right?
but no, isn't it like even worse?
Yeah.
And now you know you
figure
have
that.
You have
chances are she's done this before. That's all I kept saying.
So everyone in this room might have crutch-soaked money in their wallets right now, and you wouldn't even know it.
Thanks.
No, but that's disgusting.
It is. It is.
I think that's so filthy. How? I don't know.
Listen.
I've never in my life thought that that's something that someone would report and say.
Listen,
this has happened in the BVI.
Ooh.
I don't know. And then I don't know. And then through an airport, especially.
I'm telling you, it wasn't the first time. Couldn't have been the first time. Maybe she didn't put them there the first time. But I'm telling you, chances are this ain't her first time.
And then there's been a lot of money
leaving this country.
I don't know what's happening.
And I need to rebuild my house. Like, really? Why? And where are they getting it from?
No, but this one, they said she just sold her house, or he sold their house back home.
Okay, so you sold you sold the house back home and the 80,000 and up here in the BVI?
I guess it was an account and they were, I don't know.
Listen.
I have no idea. It's just really, that was the thing of the week for me this week. I couldn't believe I
think it was the thing of the week for everyone.
It was just really, I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, kind of strange.
Anyway, it is 3:15 in the British Virgin Islands.
Yes, it is.
And we're still waiting on Rob. He's Rob now. It's not Robbie anymore.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
It's Rob.
Well,
so
you
Rob, we're waiting on you
today. Don't forget that.
Rob, and just to let you guys know, we have in studio, we have the NPO board, we have FIA, we've got M.A.L.E, we've got a full
house today.
We got a full house today. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Pulse VI.
And we are back.
Yeah.
Tell them who we've got with us today.
We have the NPO board with Mr. Jerome. I'm going to mess up his last name, so I'm going to leave that there. And then we have FIA representing with Miss Glenda, right?
That's correct.
And you'll give them your full names, because I'm not good with that.
Okay, so I'm Glenda Lieben, the Senior Compliance Examiner at the Financial Investigation Agency.
And my name is Jerome Ruben Denonchi. And
I told you all.
It's not that complicated.
It's not.
No.
And so I'm a board member of the NPO. And since beginning of this year.
Great. So for the persons out there who don't even know what NPO means, because you'll be surprised, what does it stand for, and basically what does it do within our community? What's an NPO in the community?
So NPO is a non-for-profit organization.
Okay.
Basically, the definition here in the BVI is it's an association of people that basically raise or disperse funds in the Virgin Islands in the BVI. So it could capture a lot of different groups, including churches and sports associations. Culture, very much everything. So as long as you're a group of people and you raise funds and you disperse funds in the BVI, you would qualify as a NPO.
Okay. And basically, once I qualify as an NPO, what do I do? Okay, I figure out, oh my God, I'm raising funds in the BVI, I'm giving it to people, I'm collecting it from people. What's my obligation?
So your obligation, you have to register. You have to register with the NPO board, and the reason for that is actually quite simple. As long as you start touching money, raising and dispersing funds, there's a risk. There's a risk that is involved, and basically it's the risk of money laundering and terrorism financing. So it needs to be controlled. Even though we're a small jurisdiction, it happens everywhere in the world.
Right.
NPOs are subject to money laundering and terrorism financing. So countries are actually checking that other jurisdictions have rules in place to mitigate the risk of money laundering and terrorism financing.
Okay.
So you're saying money laundering and
terrorism financing.
Terrorist finance. I know these things.
Yeah, you do.
So how does that correlate with the FIA?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So just as he said, there is that risk, and the Financial Action Task Force, which is an intergovernmental body, they recognize that the risk or the threat of money laundering and terrorist financing is real to all countries. And so they developed the 40 recommendations, and recommendation 8 is a recommendation that deals specifically with nonprofit organizations. The way I see it, if you have an entire recommendation solely for you to let you know about the risk, especially for terrorist financing, it is something that's serious.
Right.
So it's based on that, and the way the law was crafted, the NPO board is responsible for registration, and the FIA is responsible for supervision of the nonprofit organizations. And just a little bit about the FIA, they are the reporting authority that's set up in the BVI. So anyone who suspects that there is a suspicious transaction in relations to money laundering or terrorist financing, they are required to report that to the agency. And I guess basically it's very fitting for the agency, if you're receiving the reports, to also monitor that entity. So it was designed that way.
Oh, okay. So basically, FIA, let's say for instance, I'm just like, I don't do all this stuff. I don't touch all this kind of money. I just basically want to, do good. I want to give people a little something. I don't need all. What if I said I'm not going to register? I don't see the need. It's not important. I don't think I qualify. What's the penalty if I don't, or is there a penalty? Because what's going to encourage me to want to register?
Right. So the way it's set up is that you have to register with the NPO board. So the obligation is to register with the nonprofit organization board. And there are penalties for failing to register. I can't recall them off the top of my head. But there are penalties. And also, if you may be an existing NPO that's already operating in the territory, you have to renew your registration. So it's a requirement that has to be done on an annual basis, and that is to ensure that the territory is able to, one, recognize those organizations that require supervision and that they are doing what's required by law.
Okay.
Have you had a lot of cases where you've had to give someone a penalty because they haven't met the standards or registered and done what they were supposed to do?
That may be a better question for Jerome.
Oh, okay.
Because in terms of the registration process, because the agency primarily deals with the supervision of it, what I could tell you is that when we get information from the board, because the board is allowed to share information with us as to who is registered, we try to initiate contact with that entity. And we want to understand their risk and, of course, help them understand their risk and also what are the obligations they're required to do. As far as I'm aware, I don't believe any penalties were issued to date, because I think persons first need to understand what they're required to do. I think it will be very foolhardy of us to issue penalties for someone and they don't know what they're required to do. So it's important that we at least get the message out, this is what you're required to do, and help them understand, because it's one thing to be a supervisor, but I think if we are not able to help persons understand what they have to do, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So so I've listened to the spiel and now I need to register. Who do I contact? I said, okay, I think I fit that mold. I need to do something. Who will I contact?
So you will contact the NPO board.
Right.
Yes.
And what will I do? What do I need to bring to register? What do I need to prove that I am an NPO? What's required for me to get registered?
So you have first the registration and then the renewal application. Basically, it's the same application form. You just have basic information that you need to complete, just like how many people are part of your association, what's the purpose of your association. You also have to provide financial statements. That's actually a very important point, because in terms of transparency, we need to know how much money was raised, how much money was disbursed, and also there's a threshold. So if you spend more than, or if you get more than $20,000, you need to justify, not really justify, but explain where the source of these funds. So you basically, you can reach out to the NPO board and they will help you out with filling up the questionnaire and providing the financial statements. It's very straightforward process.
How many persons are on the board?
5 people.
5?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
You're on the board?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to add to what Jerome said. The figure he gave, that's in relation to if the organization raises that amount of money over a particular period of time. But the entity is required to take customer due diligence for amounts or donations that are $10,000 and over.
Right.
So there are limits, but of course it's all on a risk-based approach. And what is a risk-based approach? Because you have varying sizes of nonprofit organizations. Some may be smaller, some may be larger, but your threshold for taking due diligence is the $10,000. And in relation to source of funds declaration forms, because he raised that amount, not because there is that figure will you only take it then, but let's just say your basic interaction with the person. If something is just not right or you feel uncomfortable, you can ask them to do a declaration of the source of funds, because you want to be sure that you are not being used. And of course, because you're getting donations and it is for recovery efforts and to help build back the territory, you may think, okay, great, but it's more than just that. Where are these monies coming from?
Right.
And the Caribbean region in itself on a whole, we've been hearing news about foreign terrorist fighters and the threat, and while it may not be a very high threat for us right now, you mentioned earlier the lady who was caught in the airport.
I wanted to say, but I said, let me hold off.
No, I'm just saying, if you see, and the news has been highlighting cases of persons being caught with monies, it tells you that we may be in a situation where persons are trying to use our territory to pass funds through.
Right.
The good thing is that our law enforcement, whether it's at customs, at the airport, there's a measure and a mechanism in place where, whether it's through a random check, that they're getting on to persons.
Right.
And so it says that something is working. But as long as we all work together, it's going to make it easier.
So with something like that, is like would the FIA be involved, since it's I read they're saying it was tax evasion type of stuff. So that's what
Is that something that would fall under your umbrella in terms of investigation?
I want to say the right thing, but I want to ask Dwayne to jump in here at this point in time.
Dwayne.
Come on over. Come on over.
Dwayne. You could
just.
I'll give him.
He just needs a mic.
I got you.
So basically, because anyone in the territories has the ability to file SARS, instances like these where persons are caught with cash, whether at ports or wherever, you expect other law enforcement agencies to share that information with the FIA. One of our, from the FIU standpoint, we have an analytical and investigative standpoint, units within the agency. So basically, the FIU receives SARS, investigates, analyzes, and disseminates information. So persons caught with cash within the territory are expected that if it happens through customs or police, SARS are filed with us, or at least reports, sharing of information. We would then investigate those SARS, and decisions would be made to forward the information, whether to law enforcement locally or internationally.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. FIA involvement with the regulations of NPO. Can you give us an idea as to, like, based on your findings, how are the NPOs that are registered maintaining records? Are they doing the reporting for those that has donated $10,000 or more? I mean, do you feel that the records they're keeping are in line with the type of records that you would like to see them keep?
Well, what I will say is that we are in the process of gathering information. So like I said, we're helping them understand what are their risks. And one of the things, a major requirement, is that they have to develop a compliance manual, which will detail all of the policies and procedures for money laundering and terrorist financing. So in that, one of the things we do, we have to approve that manual. So
for
based
all the NPOs, including my little tiny one where it's just me and Jim?
Yes, and you see, it's not only the NPOs that the agency is responsible to supervise, it's also other designated non-financial businesses and professions. That's a mouthful. It's usually DNFBPs, and you'd recognize later on that there are a lot of acronyms used, and of course you could understand why. So our supervision activities are not only for NPOs but for them, and one of the things that we have to do is to review and approve their compliance manual. The law requires it. So it's a process. So we are reviewing documents. I'm trying to give feedback, because if we find that there are deficiencies, we'll let you know. Like I was saying before, it's more than just telling you you have something to do without any kind of guidance.
Right. The support is there so that we could build a strong community.
And if I can add to that, I mean, we're glad to be here on this show today simply because we think education is key.
Right.
And the NPOs, the DNFBPs, and a number of persons within the territory are unaware of the agency and what we do and our requirements.
Right.
So basically, we have coming on stream later this year, a large education program and outreach to basically explain to persons their responsibilities, their obligations, because we don't want to appear heavy-handed and issue penalties.
Right.
Even though we have the ability to. The main thing is people understanding what they're into, and how to actually go about it correctly.
Okay.
If you feel that your business isn't susceptible to money laundering, ask us a question. If it's terrorist financing, ask questions. That's what we're there for. If you don't ask the questions and you operate blindly, then ignorance is no excuse to the law. So basically, you have to basically understand what you're doing and understand who can help you.
Great. Well, on that note, that's taking us to break. Guys, it's 3:30 in the Virgin Islands, so we'll take a break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
Pulse VI.
Pulse VI.
We're both looking at each other like,
who's gonna bring us? Rob.
You're missing.
I don't know.
He's on his way. There's still hope.
I've been hearing that
there's
for
still
half an hour,
hope. There's still hope.
Where is Rob, right?
Guys, we're back, and joining us right now is Miss Cleverne Penn from the NPO board. We had Dwayne Thomas jump in on the last set. He's with FIA. Dwayne, tell us quickly your position at FIA.
I'm currently the acting deputy director at the FIA. I'm in charge of the FIU, which is the investigation and analysis portion, and also the compliance and enforcement unit, which Glenda works in.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Ms. Penn, tell us your role at the NPO board.
Hi, I am the administrator for the NPO board.
So basically, you're the it person, huh?
Yeah, I'm the face.
Yeah, guys, I hope you get to see this. She's the face of the NPO board. So persons reach out to you when they need to register. Go through the process for registration and renewals and the importance. I want not everyone to chime in on the importance of the renewal piece, because I know lots of persons come and say, okay, I'm registered, and they don't have to do anything else. We want to, make sure that we speak about that. But tell persons the process that it will take if they decide that, I'm doing raising funds, distributing funds, put in the BVI, sounds like an NPO, I need to connect.
Okay, the first thing that you need to do is fill out the application form. Along with the application form, you need to have a constitution attached with it, and also pay the fees. You can find the application form on the BVI government website, or you can email the NPO board. The BVI government website is www.bvigov.vg or npoboard.gov.vg, and if you reach out to the board, they can send you more information on how to actually do your constitution.
Great, because that was my next question. A constitution. I just tell you, I'm just raising funds for the children out there. What do I need a constitution saying what?
Well, the constitution is basically a document saying the name of your organization, the purpose of your organization, and the type of activities that you would want to do in your organization, and who will be the regulators of this organization.
Oh, okay, great.
Why is it called a constitution? Sorry, I'm just really ignorant. Why is it called a constitution? Know about anybody? Because first thing I hear constitution, I think the Constitution of the Virgin Islands, whereas something like that sounds like a business plan, like a business marketing
I think
plan.
it's that's a name given to it in the legislation.
Right.
But it's basically your Bible. It's like, this is how I'm going to govern, organize. This is how I'm going to operate. So it's basically the Bible.
Or a manual.
Right. And the NPO board also offer a standard one.
Yeah.
If persons like, me, just don't have a clue what to do, the NPO board offers a standard one that persons could just add their name, add their tidbits to it. But basically the gist of what the legislation is asking for is included.
Okay,
Right.
so persons can use the one that's ready-made and kind of
Yeah.
template. So you
Right.
have a template, people.
Yeah.
Yes, you
we
do.
make it easy.
Even though there's a template document, what you want to do is still tailor it to your
Right,
business, what
right.
you're going to do, because you don't want to end up submitting your constitution and,
And then
having
you
Claudia's name
operate
versus
it,
your name
right.
and stuff like that. So you
Right.
still want to tailor your document to ensure
Of
that the right
course,
information is
yeah.
included.
Right. It's just mainly a guidance, you know, so that persons that don't have that expertise and don't have the resources to pay for a compliance person to draft it. It's a guidance, but as Mr. Thomas said, you need to make sure that it's tailored to your organization.
That's right.
And also one of the other things you have to ensure as well as you appoint a money laundering reporting officer, MLRO.
God, Mr. Thomas, you're really killing me here now.
I know what
I
that
just
means.
tell you, I'm only raising $50.
Yes, but still, you still have to have a person within the organization that understands the risk of money laundering and terrorist financing who would then make those reports to the FIA.
Oh, and what if I don't? What's
You have
What
to
if
appoint
you don't?
someone.
You have to appoint someone. That's the funny thing. So
okay?
there's no way around
There's
that.
no way around it, guys.
Penalty.
There's penalties, and
And
you
we
know,
don't want to speak about penalty
we have
today,
been great.
but
There are no penalties being assessed in the territory thus far because we want to bring the MPO community to where we want it to be.
not only that, I mean, our goal is compliance,
Right.
mainly, honest and truly. You don't want to walk around just issuing penalties and
Yeah.
fines. You want people to understand what they're supposed to do and meet the requirements.
Right.
So compliance is our goal, but at the same time, the penalties do exist.
Right, and the role of an NPO in the community is very important, right?
Very.
Because basically, they, especially after Irma, I'm quite sure, was there an influx of registrations after Irma?
Yes, there were.
Okay.
I'd say you probably heard of Adopt a Roof or Convoy of
Oh,
Hope.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
new to the territory.
Yeah.
And I think one of our big concerns when it comes to the NPOs as well is the whole re-registration or deregistration process.
Okay.
We have a lot of NPOs still operating who came on stream for basically a one-off occasion. And they met that 3-month deadline they wanted to meet, and then all of a sudden now they never come back and say, well, we're no longer operating in the
Right.
territory. And the problem we have for that is they're still on the books as an NPO.
Right, and then default because
Yes.
they didn't re-register.
Basically, so and then we have, and I don't want to do name and shame today, but we have large NPOs operating who haven't re-registered in a number of years.
Right.
So we're trying to fix that situation and
Yeah.
curtail it from continuing to happen.
So how do
Yeah.
you fix something like that?
Right,
You're saying
without
you're trying to-
going to the extreme of penalizing, because again, we want to make sure that we bring the community to where we want it to be. When
I mean,
does
you're
that line get drawn?
That's an easy question. That's kind of where we're on Pulse VI today.
Okay,
Education
guys.
and outreach. So Pulse, we thank you
Outreach.
guys for giving us the avenue to basically, let persons know what they're required to do.
Okay.
Public awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, me being me, once again, excuse me if I'm
Benta-
being ignorant.
Benta behave.
No, I'm not. But basically, you're saying the bigger organizations haven't re-registered or whatever for a couple of years, is what you're saying.
Glenda.
All right.
No, that's not. Let me.
No.
Okay.
No. There are some instances
Uh-huh.
where larger NPOs have not re-registered, or we don't have sufficient information to say that they are still operating.
Right.
And it's important for us as supervisors to know who's operating, because as the example Dwayne gave, if you would have fulfilled your purpose and you're gone, we need to know that you're gone.
Right.
And so we don't... let's say when that time comes and we do start to take action to ensure that there's compliance, and we're writing you to tell you you have not submitted a compliance manual, or we don't have who your MLRO, your money laundering reporting officer is, it will not apply to you. But then you have to think about it. If we don't have the appropriate records, we won't be able to take the appropriate action. And then we want to know at all times who we have to supervise. So just as we have a duty to communicate with you and to give you that information and education, we want nonprofit organizations to understand that it doesn't just end with after the purpose is filled.
Right.
As you say, it is a do-good thing that you're doing. It's for a purpose, it's for a benefit, for a cause, and we understand that some persons may merge. You may
Right.
decide, okay, we follow the same ethos, we want to accomplish the same things, and maybe we'd get better results if we form one NPO.
Right.
Then do that. Make the reach out to the board and have that communication going. It's important so that we don't send something for ABC when it's really ABCD with the merger.
So with that, all I'm thinking, this is just me thinking.
It's okay.
Fine them. give at least one person a penalty so that they, people know that this is serious. This is happening.
Is ready to just.
No, because all I'm hearing is if you're saying for a couple of years, the way I think, if it's for a couple of years, let's say NPO A or B or whatever, they've been here. Yes, it's for a cause. Yes, it's for a good thing. But if you're not doing if you're not doing your due diligence, the due process or whatever, I think they ought to be fined to teach them a lesson.
And that will come.
Yeah, because when you think of monitoring and supervision, that process is still sort of new.
Right.
So we're now trying to get persons to understand the obligation.
Right.
And if you go around just levying penalties,
then you're going to discourage persons from coming and investing in the territory.
Right. Discourage persons from creating NPOs.
Creating,
You are there to just simply help persons with causes.
Right.
So you kind of still want to tread. You want to tread
find that balance.
tight line and say, okay. And there will be instances where you have to fine and you have to penalize, but those instances will be egregious and then you have to do it. But for right now, registration and the importance of it is key.
There's a process for everything. So even if, let's say, a penalty or it's identified that someone has committed an offense and a penalty is issued, there's a process. Yeah. The person still has an opportunity to say why they would not have done something or why they agree with it or not. There is a process, right? Because you just can't, as you say, issue a penalty and the person will comply. Let's say there was an extenuating circumstance that prevented you from doing something. Right. You must be given that opportunity to be heard. So it just comes back to how are we communicating? Right. And we want persons to understand that you don't have to feel intimidated because it's a financial investigation agency, because it's a supervisory body. We're here to help. We have information. We want to help you comply. Right. Right. And because it will only benefit the entire region.
Right. So once I'm registered. How will I know when it's time for me to renew? How does persons out there know that, okay, it's time for you to renew? And how soon can they renew before that 1 year expire?
How soon?
Like, let's say, for instance, my 1 year is coming up in December. It's now October. Can I file my renewal now, or do I have to wait until December?
Well, you'll have to wait.
Okay.
Because it's a yearly period.
Okay.
So if you apply in advance, the time wouldn't extend. It will still be that 1 year period.
Okay. So just want persons to understand, those that are out there that haven't been registered, I want them to understand when their registration window begins.
But the funny thing is, though, sometimes you hear persons say, well, no one told me I had to renew, or no one, I didn't know when my expiration was.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, the owners can't be on the registry or the regulator
to say to you, it's like you have a driver's license, right? Basically. You know you got to renew it.
You need persons to understand you signed up for this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So they have to take that responsibility.
Exactly. The onus is on you to come and ensure. If you know if you're not operating, then that's different. You come back and you say, okay, we want to deregister, we're no longer operating. But once you intend to continue operating, the onus is on you to come in and say, I need to renew. Okay. And keep track of your expiration date, your deadline, whatever you want to call it.
Right. And I think probably a problem is that there are so much small ones that have no structure. No structure in place, right? Guys, we have 1 minute. And our set is up. I wanted you to tell persons where they could reach NPO and FIA real quick.
Well, NPO, you can reach us. We're located in the Old People's Hospital in the 911 call center. Our number is 852-7742.
Okay, and FIA?
FIA is located on the second floor of Ritter House behind Charlie's in the Moorings area. Our telephone number is 494-1335. And I would like to tell you our direct email address right now, but I don't know it, so you can always email Glenda at...
You could do compliance unit.
There she goes.
Compliance unit at...
FIABVI.VG.
All right, guys, those are the contact details. This is a very hot topic, and I'm quite sure we'll probably have to have you guys on again so we could see what strides have been made, right? If we're progressing, if we receive more contact.
And we'll definitely appreciate that with the outreach and education program we want to do later this year. So please have us back, and we'll be there.
Take our card with you, sir. Reach out.
You take my card. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
With that, we'll go to break, and we have M.A.L.E up next, right?
Yeah. Pulse VI.
It's been so hectic. We've been shuffling chairs, shuffling people, but we have M.A.L.E in the house.
So welcome. How are you guys?
We're great.
Introduce yourself first real quick.
Well, my name is Shama Tittle. I go as Shamizy Money, if you want to call me that, for today.
Okay.
I'm Henderson Tittle. My name is Brent, and they call me Brent True.
No one does that.
Okay.
Way late.
And we have 2 more joining. This is M.A.L.E. Tell us what M.A.L.E. is all about, Mr. Tito, or one of the junior men here. Who's going to speak?
You want to have this? You want to get this one?
He's letting y'all.
Well, M.A.L.E. is a non-profit organization mainly for young men in the community.
Yes.
And it's also a youth group for boys, yeah.
Okay, so what happens? Like, if I have a young man and I'm like, you know, he's doing nothing with his time, when do you guys meet? What happened when you guys meet? You know, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we actually meet every Saturday at 3 o'clock at Alta Scotland Primary
All
School.
right, so we're interrupting your meeting right now.
Yeah, I think it's actually going on right now, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. And when you get there, we actually try to, you know, teach the young men different core values, time management, especially.
Oh, wow.
Respect, you know.
Integrity, all of the good stuff. You know?
Okay, so what are your roles?
I was just gonna ask because these 2 are like they're the heads of the
Well, we're actually the
junior mentors.
Yeah.
Because it has
nice.
mentors and it has junior mentors.
And how old are you, sir?
I am 17.
Okay, and you?
I'm also 17.
Nice, that's nice. So what's the age group for male? Like how old, how young do we start and to what age do we end?
Well, the youngest we have right now
Is what, 4?
Please stop, that's...
It's not supposed to be, but his brother is in the program
And
also.
he wants to be with
So he
this-
wants to be
Oh,
with
that
is
so
Basically, we're supposed
cool.
to start from 6.
Okay.
Yeah, because we realize we got to catch them at a young age.
Yes.
To mold them. Because what we realize over the years is that by the time a boy hit 14, it's very difficult. And it's very hard to start to instill certain values in him. So if we catch him at 6, then it's easier.
Okay, what kind of core values are we instilling?
All right, like Brent mentioned, one of them, a couple of them, respect, integrity.
Okay.
Service is one of our big core values.
Okay.
Like last week, we head on over to
Virgin Garden.
Garden to help with the recycling program over there.
Wow.
Where we helped but it was hard.
I love VG, but I always say it has 7 sons. A son
Yeah,
for each
it's the
day.
stones.
Yes.
Yeah. But it was good. So
Yes.
stuff like that. And respect is one of our key element because we believe it's the glue that holds the community together.
Right.
And without that glue, we're in trouble.
Right.
So.
And prior to you guys coming on set, we had the NPO board on, hence why we have you guys. We thought it would be important to devote the whole day to NPO. Like, do you get funds donated from persons? Okay, how does that go?
Well, yeah.
How is your organization funded?
Well, right now we have folks who like what we're doing.
Okay.
So they will say, okay, we want to do this. For example, someone think that we need a bus. So they allowed us. They're giving us a bus.
A whole bus?
A whole bus.
With engine and everything and tires? What?
Yep, the one with wheels.
And they're going to put our logo on it?
Yeah,
I'm
everything.
telling you, that is nice.
So stuff like that.
Okay.
And then there's this guy who said he makes sure that we have pizza and something to eat after we finish.
Okay.
So he was okay. I'll help with the pizza.
Yeah.
And I know he's gonna nail me, but I'm gonna mention his name. They call him Stinky. You know, he have the barber shop.
The barber shop.
Yeah. So he will give me. He'll say, okay, here is a $20. You go and buy juice for the boys to have.
Every little bit
So
helps.
stuff like that. So that's how we get sponsors.
Oh,
You guys are
great.
basically living your best lives while staying out of trouble. This is excellent.
Yeah.
But they,
And-
do,
and
they
they look-
do get in trouble too. Okay.
And Binta, they
They're not
look
angels.
excited.
Are you guys, I know y'all been smiling.
You
this
guys
whole
look
time.
excited.
They're
It
not
doesn't.
angels.
It doesn't look like this is being forced. You know, most kids in a group feel like, oh my God, my parents are forcing me to do this. I don't want to do it. But you guys look like you're doing it, you know, free will and enjoying it.
Yeah, because they are the future. If you think about it, we try and empower them to become the
listen to
future.
this
You
man.
are the
You
future,
are the
boy.
future.
Hey, you boy, you young boy.
I am a part
Boy,
of the
you young
future,
boy.
Yes,
but
sir.
they are also.
They got
Is this your son?
All right.
Yes.
Oh God.
I guess he's taking on the role.
Because could see
in
that.
the group what we have we have the beginners. For example, we have Keone here who have just started to train to become a junior mentor.
Oh, nice.
So now you have the mentors, the junior mentors, and then you have the trainees who are training to become junior mentors.
So how do you recognize that someone has the qualities
to
be a junior mentor?
The mission, the vision statement of M.A.L.E, your attendance, the way you carry yourself, how you take part in our activities, how well you serve. Because that's our big issue.
It's all about service.
We service, right? And right now we have what we call Solomon Say. You know, there's a game they used to play, Simon Say. But we have it where Solomon Say. And if I should only ask now, what's Solomon Say?
Solomon says there's a time, a purpose, and a place for everything.
Alrighty.
So Solomon says that there's a time, there's a purpose, and there's a place for everything. And this is what we're trying to do, instill this into them. So when they go to school in the classroom, when it's time to listen, you don't play. You
have them in line.
So you know exactly what time it is. The purpose. Why are you behaving like this? What's the purpose behind of this? Right? So you always have a plan. And like I said before, they're not angels, but man, I tell you, I won't want to do anything else but be with these guys.
What brought about this? M.A.L.E. What did you see missing in the community, or what encouraged you to want to, start this group? And how long has it been around?
Well, M.A.L.E 20 years ago.
Wow.
Over 20 years ago, I get involved in youth work.
Okay.
M.A.L.E started 4 years ago. 20 years, I became the youth pastor for a church, served as the territorial youth director, and then I started to assist with the Big Brother, Big Sister program, Stacey James, with that program. So we started to do that. That went on for a while until it stopped, and I cried out for mentorship because never get to know my father till I was 25 years old.
Wow.
So M.A.L.E for me is giving back something that I really need, and I don't want to spook anybody off, but I plainly heard it. Because one night I was crying because I was hurt. I was in pain. The guy who I used to look up to, the way the relationship went sour, we started to, back and forth. And I literally hear it. You give what you want. This is what you want, and this is what you're asking for. Why don't you give it?
Okay.
And that's where the evolution starts, and the journey continues.
So how deep would you say your tribe is, the M.A.L.E tribe?
Yeah, how many boys do you have under your belt?
Well,
maybe like 60 deep.
60?
Wow.
Last Saturday we were at Virgin Garden with about 50 of us.
Wow.
And I could have counted about a couple of guys who wasn't there. So a lot of the other guys. Riley wasn't there.
Right.
What's his name? Jackoy. So many of the guys that wasn't there.
Right.
So how many mentors? I know they're junior, but how many do you have helping?
I say about 7 to 10. To 10 of us. Mr. Mackenzie Baltimore, who you know is a retired police officer.
Yes.
So we have the military side of Mr. Baltimore. We call him Papa Baltimore in the group. He's the vice president of the organization.
Okay. So on a given Saturday, when the guy shows up at 3 o'clock, give us a quick rundown as to how the day goes.
Who's going? Smiley over there.
Who's going to take it?
You only have a couple minutes. So.
All right. Well, we get there. We start off where everybody stand. We want to say a prayer because break the ground and pray the 23rd Psalms, our Father. And after we don't do that, I'll give this to Brent, and you take it over. You continue.
Just like that. After we pray and say the 23rd Psalms, somebody else takes over, and then we start, with the call.
Depends on the activity that we just schedule. Like today. M.A.L.E is going on while we're here.
Right.
The rugby team and the rugby coach is right there at this time doing what they call anger management. How to deal, because we're looking for outlet.
Yeah.
So the rugby team is right there now doing this with these guys. So
nice.
we have different guests. They come in a time and share with us. We had Leroy Abraham, that's the electricity came in. Then we have the guys from the emergency unit came in. So we have people who comes in at times. Dr. Archer, who the deputy governor, he came, and one of the things that he said to us, one of the boys were using it on me, to be late
It's
Nah.
It's how you go, Disani? How you go?
How
To
good
be
Disani?
always
Be on time is to be early.
To be on time is to be early.
To be on time is to be late.
Early is to be late.
It's to be late.
And
What?
He said it.
wrong way.
No, that's actually, I've heard that before.
Yeah,
but you said it wrong. You
Actually,
said to
what
be
he's saying-
early is to be late.
Actually, what he's saying,
Yeah.
if you can't come early, you're late.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And I'm a little bit sad and disappointed. I'm gonna fix him when I see him because I know he normally be on this show because he's a part of the wolf pack. But I'm not seeing the wolf today. What happened?
Robbie. I'm glad. Good for you. So
He's on his way. Sorry.
before we even wrap up, how does one enroll? How
Yeah.
how can we get people be a part of this?
And not just to register a child, if they want to be a mentor, if they want to donate.
Just be a part of me.
Yeah.
Well, they can just come by one of the afternoons at M.A.L.E. You'll probably be handed a registration form, or if beforehand you don't have to come on a Saturday, you could call Mr. Tito or message. Check our we have a Facebook
On our website.
profile.
Oh, a website too. Great.
Yeah, we have a website.
Okay.
mailbvi.org.
Okay.
That's our website, and there's a form online. You can print that form out, get it
and
to
bring
us.
that.
Yeah,
Perfect.
340-9140. That's the number you want to call so that someone can assist you in becoming a mentee, which is the boys, or a mentor.
Right.
We're always in need of mentors because right now we want to take the guys through a period of preparing their own meal. So we're actually partnering with YEP. Because YEP have their building, they have their kitchen, so we're gonna be cooking some good food and teaching the boys how to make their own meal and stuff like that.
So you're just getting them ready for life.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
Basically tying their shoelace, iron their. I remember when this one came to M.A.L.E. I remember, Tiny Young. Right now he's reigning as our camp prince.
Oh wow, we have a camp prince.
Yeah, he won the award. So this is what we're doing.
Okay.
Teaching the boys how. I remember seeing him iron his shirt for the first time. It's all excited. Setting up the place with the board, ironing board, and we're going from one ironing board to the next.
Okay, so before we even close off, let me do this, Shane. Just let me get through this last thing here. So I know you're teaching them all these things. I'm a believer of if you're teaching them everything, you always have to put that female aspect in it when it comes to men, because I hate to see how the young boys now
treat the girls,
treat females,
Facts.
speak to females, act. It's not even about game.
It's just the respect.
Yeah.
It's how to speak to a female.
Yeah.
You're so mature.
I understand. I understand exactly what you mean. 'Cause I've been seeing it too.
So is there anything whereas you have, let's say,
Treat her like a lady.
yeah, you have like a class where you treat her like a lady
Yeah.
figure
We
out.
actually
So
had
the women
Miss,
will come.
Miss DeCastro
Okay.
came in. We had this young lady named by Diana. Yeah, she came in, and we have the boys. She spoke to the boys, tell the boys, okay, this is what a lady expected. This is what a lady wants, and we actually had chairs out, so the guys will take the lady, make sure she's. So we
It's a
also
balance
help
then.
in that in that
I
area.
approve.
Great. If Bento approved that, settle it. Well, guys, we thank you for coming out and being a part of today's
Definitely have to have
shows.
you guys back.
You're an NPO, so you're doing good in the community, and we want to encourage you to continue to do good.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have you guys
Yeah,
back
most
so that we could have
definitely,
like a full show talking about all you do and get more of the kids involved in the conversation.
Thank you for having
You
us.
guys are awesome.
Oh, great. And thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you. We're still waiting on you, Rob.
We're still waiting on Robert, Binta, and BVI Chick. We're going to sign out and see you guys next Saturday.
Yeah.
All right.
Great week, all.
We be the heart of the VA. Feel the pulse and you will see why. Where I from, we do it B.I.G. On each other we could rely. Feel the pulse of the VA. Listen close and you will see why. The information will set you free. Stand together, never divide. Pulse VI.